When we all got elected to this chamber, we usually did it with our family and our friends. We didn't do it because we were going to be part of a caucus. We didn't do it because of special interest. We did it because we wanted to help people. We wanted to make our communities a little bit better. We wanted to help our schools that our children were going to. We wanted to help move our economy forward as a state. And so today is just a very disappointing day for me. It's actually an emotional day for me because we are not having that conversation about how we're moving our economy forward, how we're moving our families forward. We're having the opposite conversation. And I know there's been a lot of speakers. This is the last speaker you'll have on our side of the aisle today. And I just want to speak to those of you that are grappling with this issue. And I know you're grappling with it because it impacts real people in your community. They are your friends, they are your neighbors, they are your voters, but they're people who just want to provide for their families. They just want to be able to live that American dream. So let's talk about the facts. We had our own experiment here in Michigan in the 90s where we lived through the repeal of prevailing wage. It did not give us the savings that it was promised. People have been talking about Indiana. There was a study, and all of you have this study. It was presented to all of us by a number of people and a number of organizations. The study was done by the Midwest Economic Policy Institute, a nonpartisan policy institute. The study found that in the 3 years after the repeal of prevailing wage in Indiana, that things did not, they didn't save significant amount of dollars. But what they actually saw was a decrease in the take-home pay of those workers. In those first 3 years, all average of wages fell at least 8.5%, and some of the larger ones, 15%. They also looked at productivity. Indiana only increased productivity by 4.4% between 2014 and 2016. But when you look at Michigan and other states that had a prevailing wage, our productivity increased by 9.8%, almost double. Also, we talked that there was going to be more competition because more people would be bidding. In Indiana, they found that on average, there were still 2.9 bids per every project, the same as before prevailing wage. Again, so no extra competition. And then the final analysis is they looked at all the school districts that were built during that period of time, and they found no significant change in the value of construction. I'm going to quote out of an article, a Republican state representative Ed Soliday, who said, it hasn't saved us a penny. And this is not a Democrat, this is a Republican. Your own governor has been very clear that we have a shortage of jobs. Many of you stood with this governor to talk about the Marshall Plan. We're actually going to be funding the Marshall Plan as part of our budget. And why does your governor say he's opposed to repealing the prevailing wage? Is that he knows it will hurt the trades. He knows it'll make it harder to get students to actually come out for those jobs. It's already hard enough to get people to apply for these jobs and get trained and get the apprenticeship programs. It's already hard enough. Why would we make it harder? And then the final piece of that is that your governor knows that if we are to move Michigan forward, you have to have all of these pieces together. You have to do the training, you have to make sure the resources are there, but you also have to have these good paying jobs. People won't apply for these jobs, they won't take these apprenticeships if they don't have the economic incentive to do so. So why would we be having this conversation when we know we have to invest more to get more people into these trades, where we know for a fact that we have to make sure that people's economies and local economies are actually growing? So I've got to ask myself, why are you doing this? It's very simple. A vote no on this allows the citizens of our state to make this decision. People signed a petition, and when people sign petitions, they believe that they will then have the opportunity to vote. Just yesterday, we sent something to the voters for them to make that decision. Why don't we do the same thing here? I'm not asking you to be supportive of unions or not unions. I'm just asking you to let the voters make a decision on something like this that is so important to our state and its economy. And as those few of you that are grappling with this issue know, let's protect these people. Let's let the voters make that decision. And in the end, we can have a good economy, we can have a good conversation this fall where everybody's voices will actually be heard. And I just ask you, I implore you, to just stand in the common sense that we want to give the voters the chance to take a look at this complex issue. There are Republicans and Democrats on both sides of this issue, so let's let the voters decide. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.